Good afternoon, fellow vapors. Vaping newbie here again on a Monday. Yes, Monday afternoon. Up in Canada here, it's a long weekend. For most of the country, it's Victoria Day. And in Quebec, it's Journée des Patriotes. So I hope you all had a nice weekend. It's not over yet. Here, it's nice and sunny in Montreal. Enjoying the weather. Um, I wanted to do this video for last week or so, but I didn't know how to approach it. And I thought this isn't going to be too popular, and I might get slammed for this one, but I'm doing it anyhow. And if this is my swan song, so be it. The reason why is because a couple of things that happened to me over the last week and a half. Um, when I started getting into vaping, and I started with the Ego, and I went from the Ego to the MVP and other regulated mods, I then got into rebuilding. I asked a question about, well, okay, what's next? And it was told to me, oh, you should get a Mech mod. And I thought, well, I don't make a move without consulting certain people. So I spoke to my buddy Shai and Jason G that I met on Facebook, and they sort of walked me through it. And again, furthermore, with two other people, Jason M and Graham, who I spoke to today because of something that happened. Um, and they sort of gave me all the information. And I read up on it and tried to get a better understanding because we are, after all, dealing with electricity. And let me just walk you through this because, again, this is more for newer vapors like myself. Eventually, that's going to wear thin because I won't be a newer vapor anymore. But uh, here we go. This is an SVD. This is a regulated mod. Okay, this has safety features built in. If there's something wrong with my K-Fun, it won't work. If there's something wrong with my battery, it won't work. If, for example, the button is depressed for more than 10 seconds, it shuts off. And I'll tell you something, folks, it's very hard to accidentally push that for 10 seconds, all right? So this is built, it's heavy, it's clunky, but it has those safety features built in. If you haven't seen one, uh, here you go. This is a mechanical mod, all right? It's a tube, all right? On one end, it's a good looking tube. On one end is a 510 connector, and on t'other end, and this has a bottom firing switch, is obviously the bottom firing switch. And there you go. There it is. This is in 18500 mode rather, and it has but one safety feature, and that is a locking ring that's on the bottom because it fires from there. All right. Remember that because the first thing that I did as a newer Mech user and probably a dumbass is I was using it at work and I had my K-Fun on it and I put it down on my desk and sat there for 10 minutes or so, maybe 5 minutes. And then it was time to go to lunch and I picked it up and immediately I burnt my hand. Why? Well, I didn't put on the locking ring because out of habit, and I do this with my SVD, I just simply put it down. I do my VTR with everything else. Wasn't thinking, got into that habit, and just put this down. And all it did was boil the juice because there's nothing that says stop functioning. It's a tube, okay? So with that in mind, it made me think you got to be a bit more cautious. And then the second thing happened, and that happened this morning. I've done a couple of builds on my K funds, and the first one went really, really well, and it was probably the quickest build I ever did. And so I think I just got cocky in the second build, and when I do a build on a K fund, I wrap around the wire so that because of that shake that I have, it doesn't slip off. Okay, and screw it down. I then make sure I put it on my ohm reader to make sure that there's no shortage. It's at the level I want it to be. I make sure everything is squared away. I then snip off the ends of the extra cantol that's over, and then you have to put on a chimney. So you want to make sure that the metal from the cantol, or rather, is not touching the metal on the chimney. That you have that clearance. Okay, did all of that, worked fine for about a half an hour. Worked really great, and then I picked it up and nearly burnt my hand. Well, I actually did burn my hand a bit again. And I thought, okay, what the hell did I do now? You can't blame the mod. It's a tube, all right? So I took apart, I asked on Facebook, and I got the patience of a 5-year-old in Toys R Us. I took apart the build that I did and didn't see anything apparent, but when I do a build, I use a jeweler's loop. Um, and that's, I mean, I've been using one for years. I use it to see all the minute details. And I guess the second build that I did, I got kind of cocky. and didn't use it. Well, it turns out that underneath the screw, as I said before, I wrap it around the screw. Underneath the screw was just a wee bit of metal or canthal from my previous build. It didn't come off when I cleaned it because it's wrapped around the screw. So that created a short, which on the Mech mod, all right, uh, it just keeps working, but it was heating up because of that short. So all of that to say, and I don't mean to be like 5.5 minutes in, but all that to say, before you buy a Mech, understand what it can and cannot do. Speak to people like that I've mentioned. Get their opinions on what you should and should not do. Do not just run out and buy a battery. Buy the proper batteries. I personally do not let my batteries drop below 3.6 volts. Now that gives me a bit of breathing room, but it's all little bing, bing, bing point forms. You should understand before you go and just flippantly buy a Mech. Okay, I've been seeing it a lot in forums. I've been seeing it a lot in Facebook, and the first thing I think of is, hey guys, before you make that leap, understand what you're getting into. So I don't want to sound like a parent, but I am a parent, so you can understand how I'm a bit like this about it. I want to make sure that what you're buying is correct. And luckily, there are places like canvape.com that sell a safety fuse. I believe it's called the penny fuse. And you put that in your mechanical Mech, and if something goes wrong with the battery, it'll trip, and that's it. It's not going to damage the Mech because it's a tube. All right. All it'll do is it'll shut down that battery and possibly save any really bad problems from happening. Okay. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, don't slam me too hard on this, but it is what it is. Stay healthy. Happy vaping. Take care.